The first time I saw her, she was standing alone on the scorched plains of Ithera, 9, her sleek black armor reflecting the twin suns in a way that made her seem less like a being and more like a shadow with purpose. I had heard stories, whispers in the corridors of the Galactic Alliance, that she was the deadliest alien in known space. Entire fleets had vanished before her, entire colonies had fallen, and no one had ever seen her hesitate. Her name was something few dared to utter aloud: Vera. I was a communications officer aboard the freighter Aurora's Edge, tasked with transporting essential medical supplies to a besieged colony on Ithera, 9. My crew and I had been warned about rogue alien activity in the system, but I never imagined the threat would be her. She approached us with the grace of a predator and the silence of the void. At first, we froze, unsure if retreat was even an option. Her eyes, if they could be called that, glowed faintly with a crimson hue beneath her helmet. A hiss escaped her, almost like a warning and a question at the same time. I stepped forward, trembling, and tried to transmit a peace signal through the comms. We come in peace. We carry only supplies. For a moment, it seemed as though the twin suns themselves had stopped moving, as if the universe was holding its breath. And then she tilted her head, the faintest of gestures, almost human, almost contemplative. I don't know why I did it, but I lowered my weapon, unholstering the comm device. "Why are you here?" I asked, voice shaky. Her response was unexpected. She didn't attack. She didn't respond verbally. Instead, she motioned for me to follow her. Confused, I glanced at my crew. We were trained to avoid engagement with unknown hostiles, but something in her movement, in the deliberate way she walked across the plains, told me that this was different. We followed her to the edge of a crumbling outpost. The building looked abandoned, yet there were signs of struggle: burnt walls, scorched metal, and the unmistakable tracks of heavy boots. She gestured again, this time pointing to the interior. Inside, we found them, a group of colonists, trapped and injured, surrounded by remnants of scavenger drones. The situation was dire. Without immediate care, some would not survive the night. Vera knelt beside the nearest survivor, a young girl whose arm had been shattered in the collapse. I expected her to use some alien device to finish the job quickly, to end suffering in a way that a human mind might call merciful. But instead, she reached into her armor, pulled out a sleek, metallic device, and carefully stabilized the girl's arm. I watched, stunned. You're helping them," I whispered. Her head tilted again, and in a voice that sounded like grinding metal and wind, she said words I will never forget. "They are not your enemy." The irony was not lost on me. Vera, the deadliest alien in the galaxy, the one who could annihilate us with a thought, had chosen mercy over instinct, preservation over destruction. She worked methodically, checking each survivor, tending to wounds with precision that only a species evolved for war could possess. Over the next hours, we realized something remarkable. Vera wasn't merely helping us out of curiosity or a sudden whim. She had made a choice, a deliberate, conscious choice to protect life rather than take it. She moved with deadly efficiency, but now that efficiency was applied to saving lives. Eventually, the last survivor was stabilized. I wanted to ask her why, how, and what had changed, but she didn't answer with words. Instead, she simply stood, surveying the scene with eyes that had seen countless deaths and countless battles. Then, she turned toward the horizon. "We leave," she said. I wanted to protest, to demand an explanation. But I had learned by then that trying to reason with a being like Vera was pointless. Instead, I nodded and followed her as she disappeared across the plains, as silent and sudden as a shadow passing over the sands. The next day, news came that the scavenger drones that had terrorized Ithra 9 for months were destroyed overnight. Not by Alliance forces, not by reinforcements, but by Vera. Whoever had feared her wrath now had reason to fear her mercy as well. She had chosen to eliminate the threat, not for power, not for conquest, but because the lives she had spared mattered more than her reputation as a weapon. Weeks later, we heard rumors from other colonies, stories that seemed impossible at first. Villages that had once been under threat now thrived. Convoys once ambushed were left unharmed. And in every account, there was mention of a figure clad in black armor, silent but vigilant, watching over them. Vera. It became clear to me that her decision wasn't a one-time anomaly. She had transformed from the deadliest alien into something else entirely, something no one had ever expected. A guardian. A force that wielded lethal skill, yet tempered it with wisdom and compassion. I think about her often. I wonder what drives her now, what thoughts cross her mind as she patrols the stars, keeping watch over those who once feared her. Perhaps she knows something the rest of the galaxy has yet to learn, that true power lies not in destruction, but in the courage to choose life over death, mercy over vengeance, and hope over fear. And maybe, just maybe, that is why she made that unexpected choice. Not because she had to, not because she was forced, but because even the deadliest beings can surprise the universe with their humanity. When the Alliance finally tracked her down again, hoping to study her, negotiate, or perhaps recruit, they found only an empty desert and a message scrawled across the wall of the old outpost. Life is the weapon that never fails. Vera had vanished once more, leaving behind only the lives she had chosen to protect, and a lesson that even the deadliest alien could choose to become something far greater. Weeks later, the survivors had begun to rebuild. Fires had been put out, walls reinforced, and the first hesitant crops were planted in the ash-covered soil. I walked among them, carrying water and medicine, still thinking about her, the shadow in black armor who had saved us all. Some of the colonists whispered her name in awe, some in fear. Vera, they said, as if saying it too loudly might summon her again. And in a way, they were right. She wasn't gone. She lingered, in the sense that a storm lingers in the scent of the air after it passes. She had marked this place, not with destruction, but with her choice, a choice that now had ripple effects far beyond this tiny outpost. At night, I would lie awake and imagine her walking among the stars, watching other colonies, other settlements. How many times had she made that same choice? How many lives had she saved simply because she had decided, for once, that life mattered more than reputation, more than fear? Then came the transmission. It was garbled, alien in structure, but unmistakably hers. I managed to decode a single phrase. The hunt ends where mercy begins. I stared at the screen for hours, trying to parse the meaning. Was it a warning? A lesson? A promise? Maybe all three. The words haunted me because they were true, not only for Vera but for every life in the galaxy. Mercy in her hands was not weakness. It was a weapon more precise than any blade, more enduring than any fleet.